to my channel where it's all about Shadowpriest and chill ass music. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you want more updates, subscribe. Last week I made a montage of my Shadowbound combo. This week I'm bringing you a guide of that combo, where I'm going to be telling you what talents I use, what state of mind you need to be in, and what you need to be aware of to make this combo work. Now before we get into this, I want to put out there that this build is very strong in battlegrounds, world PvP, leveling, questing, and dungeons, but not so much in arenas and duels, as you need to build up insanity a lot faster in those type of situations. Alright guys, so let's talk about talents. Now for the first tier, Twist of Fate is by far the strongest option. It gives you 20% increased damage for the extra help in your burst, and 20% increased healing for stronger self-heals. Something that the other two do not provide, and only help you in gaining insanity faster. Tier 2 is a lot less important, and you are able to choose a talent that fits more of your playstyle. Personally, having that on-demand increase in speed is a lot more useful than the other two, so I choose Body Control. The third tier is a lot more important. Having a range 4-second stun is a lot more useful than having a 30-second fear, where a lot of classes can just break out of. Also, Mind Bomb keeps your target in place, giving Shadow Crash a higher chance to hit. The fourth tier actually gives you a choice to complement your playstyle. Personally, I choose Void Lord. It gives your dots a faster ticking rate, it gives your damaging abilities lower cooldowns, and it fits more damage within that Mind Bomb stun window that you have. Compared to Reaper of Souls, I find that using Shadow Word Death at 35% health gives the target a higher percent chance to live compared to using Shadow Word Death at 20%. The fifth tier has two attractive options, but having Shadowy Insight proc within that 4-second stun helps you with that burst potential, as it allows you to pump out more damage within that 4-second window compared to the other two. But if you want more overall damage and stronger self-heals, San Lane is the way to go. The sixth tier, the most important aspect of this build, Shadow Crash. Void Form and Twist of Fate gives Shadow Crash 40% increase in damage. At my item level, 714, it hits for 70k non-crit. And as Shadow Crash is flying through the air, you are able to cast Mind Blast, use up any Shadowy Insight procs, and right as Shadow Crash is about to hit your opponent, you use Void Bolt, so they both hit at the same time, giving you that insane amount of burst damage at a very short amount of time. You don't need Power Infusion, as Void Lord is pushing Lingering Insanity into your Void form, and Mindbender does not provide that insane instant damage that Shadow Crash does. That's why Shadow Crash is very important in this build. And finally, the last tier, but there's only one choice, which is Legacy of the Void. Legacy of the Void lets you enter Void form much faster than the other two, but that's not the important part. Legacy of the Void, you don't need to worry about casting like with Mind Spike, and you don't need to worry about dying like Serenity Madness. For the most part, what you'll be doing is getting 100 insanity or getting enough insanity to go into Void form, but you're gonna hold on to it, waiting for that perfect moment to unload on a target. So that's why I choose Legacy. So now that we have the talents out the way, let's talk about the mindset and what you need to be aware of to make this work. Firstly, let's talk about probably the most important aspect of the Shadowpriest spec in general right now, which is the Lingering Insanity buff. To get this buff, you drop out of Void form, and whatever stacks of Void form you have left carries on as Lingering Insanity. And with Void Lord, you're able to enter your next Void form with the same amount of Lingering Insanity for 8 seconds. The next thing you want to make sure you have up is Twist of Fate. If you don't have Twist of Fate, just make sure that when you right when you're about to enter void form, that your void eruption pushes their health right to 35% health. That way, when Shadow Crash lands, you are able to profit from that extra 20% increase in damage. Once you know you have Lingering Insanity and Twist of Fate up, or about to gain Twist of Fate, that's when you go to the next step. Does my target have my dots applied? Are Shadow Crash, Shadow Bomb, and Mind Blast off cooldown? And am I able to enter void form? If it all checks out, that's when you know you can unload big dig damage. In this clip, you can see that I have both dots up. My Shadow Crash, Mind Bomb, and Mind Blast are up, and I'm able to enter void form. So I apply Mind Bomb, start my Void Eruption, pre-place my Shadow Crash. The moment Shadow Crash leaves my character, I Mind Blast. That's when I hit my Void Bolt. Now this part is a perfect example of having Reaper of Souls and not having Reaper of Souls. If I had Reaper of Souls, I would have been spamming Shadow Word Death at 35% health. And there is no doubt in my mind that this Warlock would have lived, and I would have wasted both of my charges, and I would have been scrounging to cast Mind Blast or using Mindplay or something in order to get that kill. Now, since I didn't have Reaper of Souls, I was able to cast Shadow Word Death at 20% health. And casting Shadow Word Death at 20% health is almost a kill with just one cast. The second one is just overkill. You will get that kill. And just to add, if you have Shadowy Insight, you will actually get an extra global cooldown between your Mind Blast and Void Bolt to put in a little bit of extra damage, which is always helpful, especially if you get a back-to-back proc of Shadowy Insight, which is always the best. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe even learned a thing or two. If you guys have any other Shadowpriest tips and tricks, please be sure to leave them down in the comments. I'm always up for learning new things. Give it a like and subscribe for more updates. And remember, you'll always have a chill ass time on Immortal State YouTube.